All right, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters qualifiers for San Jose, as we are going to be getting into another round of 16 series. The bracket has been really weird today, but it's going to be Trace going up against Petraeus. Petraeus was actually seeded #1 in the entire qualifier, so this guy is looking good to get one of those top 2 spots.
He is ridiculously good, so I'm really excited to see what he does tonight. Of course, those top 2 spots lead into stage #2 on the 11th of November, where all the people who qualify from the 4 America qualifiers, open qualifiers, will join 8 invited players to battle it out for 3 all-expenses-paid trips to Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. So, yeah, a lot on the line for these players, and we are in the game. So, let's get into it and get these introductions done.
All right, so spawning up to the top right-hand corner, we have Trace, who I believe we may have even seen in the previous USA qualifiers.
We did.
And then down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have #1 seed of the tournament. So far, it is Petraeus representing Team Root in this PVZ.
So Petraeus, according to Aligulac, is massively favored here. Bear in mind that these two played not too long ago, actually, in 32 boys, where Petraeus was able to 2-0 Trace, actually.
Was it the qualifier or was it the actual tournament itself?
It was, let's take a look, qualifier #1.
Okay.
In the round of 8.
Okay.
So Petraeus should be the favorite coming in here. Of course, Petraeus has had some really good results recently as well.
Yeah, Petraeus has looked nice. I'm pretty sure he was in WCS America as well himself. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't get a chance to watch WCS America because it's just on at such a strange time. But aside from that, we'll see if he's going to be able to compete. Ultimately, I think Petraeus, you know, I wouldn't question that he is one of the favorites for this tournament. Whenever you look at if you look at the lineup of the tournament, his name really does stand out with the reputation that does precede him.
Well, to throw some quick stats out, like Petraeus was able to take a game of Polt at Home Story Cup 10. He's been able to take series of QXC, did very well versus Bly, versus Cass. Yeah, so just a long list of people who are very notable players that he's been very successful up against. So I'd say he definitely is one of the favorites in this qualifier, but that's not to count out Trace. Trace did very nicely in the USA Championships for Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. And, well, this could be a very exciting game in the round of 16 here.
Yep, definitely could be one of our longer ones at least, because right now players are opening up quite normal. Trace being a little bit more calm in his opener, not adding on a second gas, but is getting out a build to the point where he's really kind of taking precautions in the end. It's a very, very slow opener. The Nexus doesn't go down too quickly, but it gives him the opportunity later on, if he wants to throw Chrono Boost a lot into that Cybernetics core, just to get aggressive himself off the back of that Nexus. So Petraeus does have to be careful. He spots the lack of Nexus for now.
He's going to be keeping a close eye on that, of course. This one gas opening is so versatile for Trace. He's got a lot of options. He can add in 3 additional gateways after the Nexus and say, yep, I'm going to just spam a whole ton of Zealots at you. Let's see if you've got a Rotron. He can just continue to tech up as normal. So it's that versatility that makes it somewhat a little bit awkward to play against. We're going to need to see Petraeus doing a good job at just checking throughout the game on exactly what his opponent's doing. And with these Lings coming on up, they're going to get a little bit of fun. They may very well be able to force a cancel on this pylon. Yeah,
that's nice. That's a really good start. It slows down the progression of this wall. It slows down any kind of extra probes he wants to get out, because if that pylon had been done, obviously he would have had another probe on the way. So a really nice little poke around here with just 4 Zerglings alone is going to put a spanner in the works of Trace's build.
That pylon actually ends up being quite a nice blockage in terms of the production of the probes. It was a good little supply block there. So Petraeus getting off the bat very nicely here at the moment. Behind it, he is just chilling there. Not adding in any gases yet, so I expect to see a 3rd base relatively quickly from him with his gasless opening. Just 3 queens for the moment, a 4th on its way. Going to be spreading that creep, making sure he can defend against any kind of pressure. But he's also aware that it is the 2 gases down. Did he actually see the 2nd gas? As I say that.
Yeah,
yes, he did. Okay, so he knows there's 2 gases. That immediately alleviates any fear of 4-gate Zealot pressure coming in. So he's just going to be keeping a good check to see what kind of tech comes down in the near future.
Oh, there's the Roach Horn on the way already, Petraeus. So, and at the front, so really kind of keeping himself well solidified. Overall, with the extra drones on the way. I'm wondering when we're going to see the third base coming down, because it's getting a little bit later here for Petraeus.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see when it does get thrown in. Of course, we do have at the moment the Mothership Core coming. Yep, Mothership Core coming for a little adventure. Going to see for Trace that, okay, no third base yet. What are you planning? What have you got decided? And well, the lair coming down for Petraeus already. We do have a couple of additional gateways actually being thrown in here for Trace.
Yeah.
So he's going to be going up to what is going to be 6 gates worth of pressure.
I think overall, I mean, with seeing these zealots, extra zealots coming out of these gateways, actually swapped one out, but there's an opportunity for him to rendezvous with the Mothership Core and then do a little push out with the kind of sentry zealot pressure, which would then, by proxy, kind of force out units himself. So there is an option to do that. Right now, he just has no other tech route other than just gateways, gateways, gateways.
They haven't been scouted, though, and that's actually quite important. The fact that this hasn't been seen is going to be quite frustrating. With the Stalkers out, there's no real option for the Overlord to get over there. So as far as Petraeus is concerned, he is quite blind to what kind of tech it is. There's a lot of options. But to cover those options, we do have roaches coming out, a couple of lings in production too, so shouldn't be too much of a concern.
Yeah, having seen that probe moving out with this army, you've got to be a little bit careful as the Zerg. But at the same time, I mean, the wall has been completed here. This is just like 5 gateways, power, power, power.
The third base of Petraeus could actually be in a lot of trouble because it's not done yet, so there's no creep spread there.
Yeah, the creeps was having to extend over there, but because he took his third base all the later, I mean, and had the Roach Warren nice and early, he had a lot of roaches in production and behind this for the power. So the force fields are going to have to be good to separate this off, because this army is already well positioned to negate the idea of force fields between this choke and the hatchery.
The Queens are going to be quite important, but just in terms of volume of units, there's a lot here for Trace. A couple of force fields coming on down already, a Time Warp being used in addition to that. The sentries at the front, they're taking a bit of damage, but Warpin's coming in very quickly. That Proxy Pride on incredibly far forward. Time Warp being used again, but Petraeus has just got a lot of units at the moment, focusing down those sentries, preventing any further force fields, but still the Zealots going to town.
Yeah, and with 11 more roaches on the way here, as much as, yeah, some of these roaches at the front may end up dying off to these zealot numbers, the reinforcements are always going to keep coming. That being said, though, for, you know, Trace's, this is a very, very close engagement overall. These roaches on the way now, with roach speed just about to finish up, the kiting is going to begin, and then from there on out, roaches are going to have an easy time and easy pickings against the zealots, and then once they're gone, the stalkers will fall.
Yeah, frantically trying to control these stalkers is Trace, making sure that he's getting the best trade he possibly can, but unfortunately for him, he hasn't really been able to work away at any of those workers, be able to deal with any of the units, and with that, GG immediately called, and Petraeus takes game number 1.
Yeah, really, really solid kind of game plan there in the end. I'm wondering if he does kind of understand Trace, because with the Roach Warren down and the third being so late as it was, and I mean, there was not really a whole lot for Trace to hit when he was taking that attack path. It was well set up there by Petraeus.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. So Petraeus just playing a solid game. He was able to rebuff any of those attacks, getting down the Roach Warren earlier, delaying his third a little bit, and is now just 1 win away from advancing into the round of 8, because of course this is a round of 16 game. It is the Americas qualifier for IEM San Jose, so that basically means that anyone who is in North, South, or Central America is able to take part. They just either have to be a resident of a country there or be on a 90-day or greater visa to that area. So pretty open for people to take part, and good number of sign-ups, actually.
Yeah, Catalina is going to be our next map between these two guys. Countdown's already begun as Petraeus leads 1-0 against Trace. And again, on a map like Catalina, I mean, Trace could try something too basey.
Yep.
Maybe even, you know, a Immortal push or something like that, a Gateway push, whatever he really wants to do. But Petraeus seemed to have it on lockdown. So if Trace is going to do something like that, he better be careful.
He will need to be. So we are just loading in now, of course, and, well, with it in game. Claris, take it away and get these introductions.
Up to the top right, it's our yellow Zerg representing Team Root. Currently 1 game up, it's Petraeus. And down to the bottom right, it's our pink Zergy. I mean, he's a Protoss. Of course he is. I'm a little bit tired, I'll be completely honest. It is Trace, yeah. He's not a Zerg.
I like the logo for No Flex.
Yeah, they're, I guess, advocating the idea of no exercise. Is that? Or is it Is
Or
it a modesty thing?
Or maybe you have to like exercise so much you don't even need to flex.
I mean, true, that could be it. I'm going to go with the modesty thing, though. I think it's like, yeah, we're buff, but we don't need to flex. It's fine. It's okay.
Fine. We just know it.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it's been one of my fun experiences of being over in Cologne. Obviously, with my day job, I have like a private gym and stuff. So watching some of the things people do in commercial gyms has been a highlight of the trip so far for me.
Oh,
The people who spend more time looking in the mirror bicep curling than anything else.
yeah. I mean, I don't even really go to the gym or anything like that, but I can truly imagine the idea of people just being uninformed at gyms and just doing silly things or paying too much time looking at themselves.
It's the mirrors.
Yeah,
it's the mirrors.
yeah.
They try and say they're doing form and stuff, but really they're just bicep curling for hours at a time.
All right. Where is this probe going? Of all directions. Well, okay. Got spotted instantly. At least he knows where his Zerg opponent's already spawned.
Nicely done there. But yeah, spawning call first actually coming down from Petraeus here, which isn't crazy up against Protoss. He's just making sure he's doing things safe. You never know when you're going to get proxy 2 gated.
True, true. Can happen. Poor little Virium. In the end, you know, goes to use a... I wonder if Virium in the American scene does have a big reputation for being that kind of cheesy guy. I think he does, if I recall from him watching a few of his games before. Things like ML and cheese and stuff, but... Nice little block here by Trace. And actually he's getting away with a really great block, because he was even recharging shields during some of that block, which is really sick.
That's the #1 thing to annoy me. If anyone is watching and you ever meet me in game or on ladder, do that, like block my natural hatch like that, and it will just infuriate me to the point that I'll just play terrible from then on.
Well.
Can't deal with it.
It is pretty annoying. It is pretty annoying. But at least he spent his money good elsewhere, right?
Yes.
At least he wasn't really banking up too much during all of that. The Lings are on the way. And he saw that it was a gateway kind of cybernetics core opener. So that natural will be a little bit delayed. And maybe you can get something done with these 4 Zerglings. Even a probe is quite nice.
Yeah, just any kind of annoying damage. As we saw in game #1, he took out that pylon on the low ground of the From, which added into actually quite a frustrating supply block, preventing probe production. It was just annoying. What is this probe doing over on the side there?
Well, he separated one Ling off because this Overlord, I believe, on this left-hand side saw this probe. So he's just going to be scouting out every single location for that, making sure it's not doing anything too crazy. So Tracy's got the... Wait, why didn't he go all the way up? He just went here. Of course it's going to be hiding on one of the edges. Ah. Oh well.
Silly Zergling. Not the brightest spark.
Lazy Zergling.
Anyway, the probe was picked off in the natural base, so that meant the pylon was a little bit delayed. So again, we're seeing that it's going to be much smaller, but a slight bump in probe production, which is always nice. Meanwhile, Petraeus, still no gases at the moment. His natural base just finished up, so he's transferring some drones down there. And we're looking into a normal state. Apart from Trace, has just gone for the Twilight Council. Oh, is the Link going to scout it? It will. It will.
Oh, jeez.
You have made up for your brethren who didn't check the corner of the map properly.
Yeah.
Although his brethren's also made up for it. He's found the probe.
Oh, wow. All right. Trace is not
good
having a
in the
good day. Everything that Trace wants to do has just been found out. And now, I can only imagine he has to play out a normal, longer game from here. Because with everything being spotted like it was just then, Petraeus, being the super mastermind of preparation that he was in the previous game, should be totally fine against this.
He should be pretty happy, to be honest. His third base again is being a little bit delayed. We're probably going to see the earlier Roach Warren once more from Petraeus, but I'd agree with you, Kalaris. Trace needs to play this out for the long game now, because the element of surprise, that's gone. That's not there in the slightest. His probe on the map has been picked off, and just generally everything has gone a little bit awkward. All the things you wouldn't want to happen if you were going for some kind of blink timing have now occurred.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. This lane gets not really too much information. Just sees the 2 gateways going down at the front. But for Petraeus, at least the creep spread is heading over to that third base to solidify that position. And with only 2 gates finishing up, would need to add on a few more before this blink gets halfway done. Otherwise, it's not going to line up as well as he would like to. I guess pushing this Overlord's way as well is going to help him out and put some more down if he really wants to.
Yeah, so this is just pretty normal. We see Petraeus already adding in a couple more Roaches there as well. He's got Zergling Speed on its way, his Lair on its way. But yeah, this is just pretty funky. Down comes the Forge, so Trace should be adding in some upgrades to that shortly.
Yeah.
He does just have to play this out. I don't see any way a blink timing works when it was scouted so early.
Yeah, it looks like he is just kind of abandoning the idea of that. But the thing is that once he gets once a third base goes down on this left-hand side, it's going to be spotted instantly. So Trace would ideally like to go over there and clear it out with Stalkers, but and then throw it down if he was going to keep going. And there is the Robo with +1 weapons as well for Trace. Overall, I think Petraeus is looking pretty spiffy because this third base that's going to go down is going to be spotted instantaneously, and then from there on.
Once he sees this, there could just be a move out of Lings to go and try and deal with that. There's a lot of speed Lings here already.
It's only 3 gates. I mean, how is he going to reinforce this location with only 3 gates and no
and right
Robo?
on cue, the second it comes down, all of the Lings and Roaches coming on through. It could even be a case that the Lings go in there, force this army out of position, and then the Roaches just try and move up into the natural.
Yeah, that can work as well. I mean, Petraeus has a lot of options available to him. The third base is guaranteed to be cancelled here. Roaches are looking to intercept once this army gets pushed away. Or as you say, just go straight up into the main with how these are running away.
Interestingly, the Roach is not going for it. They're backing out. I'm quite surprised at that. I thought they could have... I definitely think they could have gone in, but Petraeus, why take the risk? Why take dodgy engagements or anything that isn't absolutely perfect for you when, frankly, you've been on top of all of your scouting. You're 100% aware of what your opponent's doing at nearly all times. You've delayed that third that your opponent definitely wants to go into. If all the cards are coming up your hand, you don't take a risk. You just happily play it out and say, I've got an advantage, let's get more ahead.
Yeah, especially since also he actually blocked that third base with the creep to once it had been pushed away. So that was a nice little touch as well. Immortals are on the way. I mean, Trace might actually try and consolidate his losses and go for something like an Immortal push and just have this as a fake, because it might actually get denied again. These Roaches could sacrifice themselves and deny again. But he's not going to.
Cannon goes down. We do have a couple of Lings on the right-hand side ready to come and flank in. There's 4 sentries at the moment. There are 6 in total, 2 just staying up at the natural base. So that was kind of the plan there from Petraeus, is distract with the Roaches, then try and run up some speedlings. But Trace, being a bit too on par for that, keeps a Sentry and a Zealot in position to prevent anything like that from happening.
Where's the one observer? It's over here. And actually, with Tunneling Claws on the way as well, this could get really, really dodgy. Yeah, there's cannon. Where's the second one going down?
Just outside, between the two of them.
Ah, interesting little location. Yep. But is that enough detection overall?
Oh, a couple of force fields being used. They get 1 Roach for it. Big blink forward, actually.
At least he's got good numbers of Stalkers now, because before, trying to hold on to that third base was an absolute minefield of death. And at least he has some kind of force now to hold this off. But with the army supply rapidly approaching max for Petraeus, this could get really dodgy.
Quick little move in there by a few speedlings. Not really doing too much, but yeah, the big thing is just keeping Trace on his toes. Look, the army supply difference is the big thing.
Yeah.
106 for Petraeus up against 52 of Trace. Obviously, a lot of that is Roaches for Petraeus, which aren't very supply efficient, but here come the Tunneling Claw Roaches.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, he could do whatever he wants. He could actually just burrow on top of this army and then do damage. Like, he could just pick off the Immortals, and then what's going to happen? He just... this is really, really, really devastating for him. Roaches are piling on the outside as well. He's just going to burrow them everywhere. He's going to take so much economic damage, or even just units dying off. This could be really, really bad.
He's trying to split his army as best that he can at the moment, but already the probe kill is really starting to rack on up. An Immortal getting taken down here by just a handful of Roaches in the main base. There's more there already. 2 of the Immortals not even engaging here. Add in at the third, there's a massive volume of those Roaches pushing on through. The Natural is just getting slaughtered.
It's just all over the place. How are you supposed to deal with this as a Protoss if you've opened up in such a manner? There's more and more Roaches and Lings flooding across the map here.
There's even been more burrowed up in the main base, just so they can come through. The Natural is just open. This is just very unfortunate for Trace, to be honest. Everything went against him this game. The scouting of the Twilight Council at the perfect time, the vision of the third base when he tried to transition out. And Petraeus, he's just got so much stuff.
Wait, what? How did the mothership just die? Did he just kill him?
He must have killed his own one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was less a game number 2, more of an execution, because right now, I mean, Trace has not much to his name. He lost a lot of workers. And this army could, again, it could just burrow on top of that Immortal and then just kill that off. But he doesn't even have to do that.
In come these Roaches again, going to be pushing on through immediately. One of those Immortals targeted down. There is only now one Immortal remaining. The Roach number's up at 47 of them. They're still burrowing through, being very, very annoying. GG, well played, and Petraeus is going to take the 2-0 victory and advance on forward into the round of 8, meaning that he would need just one further win. No, two further wins off the back of that in order to get into stage 2.
I'm just going to quickly refresh the bracket and see if we've got anything going on in that round just yet. There's already quite a few people in the round of 8, so I'm sure we'll probably get something very, very soon for you. But for now, guys, we're going to go to a short break, and then when we're back, hopefully we'll have a round of 8 match here from the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose qualifiers, American qualifier, number 1, stage 1. Be right back.